Hiya, John Etheridge here. Welcome to Wednesday afternoon. It's a little bit overcast at the moment. It's going to look a little bit rainy in a minute. A bit of a shine here because I've got the studio door open. So in the last video I promised you a video on how to do a soft pastel sky, and that's what I'm going to do. Now this wasn't meant to be a finished painting and still may not be. But the most important thing is to show you how to do a very simple, very basic sky, which will look good and help set off your landscapes. So I have drawn, very quickly sketched in a lighthouse and the houses that are surrounding that lighthouse near to where I live. The reason I've done that is to give you a bit of context into the painting. It's no good me just doing a flat sky and saying there you go. You need some landscape in with it to give it some context and perspective, and show you how to go round buildings and landscape, and the areas where you need to go round, and the areas where you may or may not slightly cover it up, which won't matter at all. So with that said, the wife's just arrived home, the dog's just barked. With that said, without any further ado, I'm going to turn me off and we're going to go straight to the landscape. Thanks a lot. Okay, so I'm going to do this sky. As I said, I've put in a very quick sketch. I'll just explain what we've got going on here. We've got the lighthouse and we've got the houses around it, right? These areas here are trees. Right, now almost invariably you will cover up some of this, but it won't matter. You don't need to worry about that at all, especially the trees, because you can go over the top of the sky at the end of it. Now I'm not intending this to be a full-blown finished painting, however we'll see how it goes, and I may progress from there, and perhaps the rest of it, the filling in of it, I can bring it in different stages at a different time. Now the pastels I'm going to use are not the most expensive in the world. In fact, they are the SAA pastels, and I am presently one of the ambassadors for the SAA pastel range, and a professional associate of them. So I thought it would be good, because they're not the most expensive pastels I've got, but they're also not the worst. It would be a very good starting point to progress onto better pastels, but these are a really good start. So I've chosen 3 colours. What you want to do is to choose 3 blues. Right, now I've chosen a dark blue. Alright, I've then chosen a middle blue, and I've chosen a very light blue. Very important, that one. Right, so they are the colours I've got from the SAA range of pastels. By the way, not that I'm saying anything, but if you are interested in the SAA pastels, by all means give me a shout and come to me, and I'll see you right on that, obviously because I'm the ambassador. So, right, the start you want to make. My tape's not sticking very well. We won't worry about that. We'll sort that out later if we need to. Right, now what we need to do, a good thing to do is to break your pastels into smaller chunks. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to just break a piece off of this pastel, ready to use. Get rid of the paper, it's stuck on there very well. Right, so I've got a small piece here now. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get 3 tones of blue in here. So I'm going to go across the top like this, and this is good because it's going to show you how to go round fixtures and fittings like the lighthouse. And trees. So I don't really want too much dark blue going on up there. I need enough. So you just basically just draw up to the lighthouse and around the lighthouse, or trees, or whatever it is you've got going on. Make sure, above all, you put plenty of pastel on. That's most important. If you put too little on, you're not going to have enough to blend with. And if you haven't got enough to blend with, well, you're just not going to get the result you want. So you can just bring that down slightly into there, So basically we've got a strip of blue going on. Right, now I'm going to get my mid blue. I don't know if you really need to know what the colours are, but I've got Prussian blue to begin with. This is a French ultramarine number 8, and the last one will be a cobalt blue tint 9, which is a very light blue. Sort of bluey grey. Right, so I'm getting these pastels out. I'm taking it off of the paper. I'm taking the paper off from around it. Right, now I'm now going to start putting in a mid-tone of blue, and again going up to the lighthouse and around it. Alright, now if this is done correctly, it can really help you, because you can all of a sudden see that you're getting a sense of 3-dimension by the receding progression of just colours, without even blending the sky. So we meet them in the middle, just blend them together. Right, so you need a slightly bigger strip of that, and now we go to our cobalt blue. I'm going to break a piece of that off. You don't need to blow that dust off, I just have because it just helps you to see. Right, so you come down there. These chimney pots on the houses, you haven't got to worry too much about them, so just cut in with the edge of your pastel. Cut in to the chimney pots. Having said that, doesn't matter if you cover them. Now this is a tree, go right up to that tree and go over the edges. Now you haven't got to put too much pastel there, but up here you need to put a lot more. And again, there's a bush down here, bring it all the way down. My underdrawing was done in a Conte Pierre Noir pencil. Now I don't normally do that, if I'm being perfectly honest. I normally use a graphite, but in the middle here you can see there's the ultramarine there, so you can just overlap them colours. And again, the same on this side, down to the chimney there. Doesn't matter if you go over the top of it, because that's going to be black anyway. Same with the roof. Just need to be able to just slightly see what you've got. Down to the trees, and just block that all in wherever you want it. Come right down to what would be the fields in front. Just like I said, make sure you get enough pastel on the paper. Right, now the way I do things is to then, sorry, I'm just going to add a little bit more in there. I'm not quite happy with the amount I got in there. I can see the paper. I don't necessarily want to see the paper. So, right, I get my little finger and I start doing small circles, and I go all the way up to the top. Then you'll see a nice little swirl there. Now I do that all the way across. After every wipe or every passing, I wipe my finger. You will get darker blue into this lighter blue. That's not overly going to matter. So I'll do this side first. Every time wiping your finger, you can see I'm getting a little bit of tiny blue in there. That's not a big deal, because it's not really dirtying it up that much. Go right up to the lighthouse, swirl it all up into the top. Right, now once you've done that once, you can already see the difference. You can see that you're getting the first beginnings of a sky. Right, so it's always a good thing to have a piece of cloth or a serviette, piece of tissue, whatever, to wipe your fingers on. So again, I start here again, I push upwards, push up. I'm not blending hard, I'm only resting my finger on there. Okay, push up, you can see it's all mixing together and all giving a nice effect. Right, I'm going to find a clean finger now. So push up, letting that light blend up into the dark. So it becomes a nice soft blend. Okay, wiping your finger after every passing. and you'll see that they'll then become a little bit muted. I just had to get myself a piece of tissue because my fingers were getting too dirty. It's most important that your fingers don't get too dirty because you'll just bring it down into this lighter area. Having said that, if you do, just add a little bit more light onto it and that'll mix in, okay? Right, so you just carry on doing this until you're getting this nice blend. The lines have become less prominent, but you can still see the recession of the colours. Okay, now it's most important on my painting, and perhaps not yours, that I just blend a little bit of that white into over the top of the lighthouse, because there's none here to blend up to, is there? So you just keep doing this until you're happy where you are. I'm getting a nice subtle gradation of all these colours going on now. Now of course you're getting all this swirling going in there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do the other side. I'm going to blend up and across there. Just do it once. I'm going to get this to the same blended state as the other side, so you can see where we are. You can see it's all disappearing into one, but giving you this nice gradation. So that's once. Wipe your fingers, go up, wipe your finger, up again, from left to right or right to left, whatever you prefer doing, and you just keep blending up. What this does, it actually gives you a nice little kind of muted effect to them rather gory blues that can be up the top here. So let's get it to the same state. Right. Now once I've got to that state, you can see it's quite blended, but you can see all these swirls going on there. Well, we need to get rid of them swirls, don't we? So what I do is I use my finger just like a paintbrush and I go from left to right. Left to right. Okay. Well, I'm getting some of that Pinot Noir going into it. Now that's fine. Well, it's not fine obviously, but what I will do is, I hadn't realised that would do that because like I said, I don't normally use Pinot Noir. But what I will do, if you were using a pastel pencil it wouldn't matter quite so much. But what I will do is I will add a little bit of colour in there just to get rid of it. Right, okay, so you've now got to that point, and again you keep blending until you're happy with the blend that you've got. Okay, keep going. You don't have to press hard, just a light pressing. It's such an easy way of doing the sky. I want to talk myself, in fact. I'm sure other people must do it though. Right, so from there, I'm going to try and miss the lighthouse this time. Just go backwards and forwards with your paintbrush finger. You can go from the top to the bottom, and you can go from the bottom to the top. Always start off from the top though and blend it downwards. So you've got the light coming up into the dark and then the dark blending down into the light. Okay. Now you can blend that probably as much as you like. You can get rid of, if you can see the lines, which you can sometimes slightly, you can just blend these lines out, make them look nice and soft. And that's a pretty good sky. Well, sky background I should say. Now in pictures normally you don't just have a flat blue, do you? So we're going to put some clouds in. Right, what I'm going to do first though, is I'm just going to clean up the bottom just by putting in a splattering of white, or sorry, I should say light blue. A little bit of white in there, or light blue I should say. Just mix that in so that it gets rid of all that dirtiness. Okay, what I will say, and it's just come into my mind, is it's probably best to have this on a easel, because then all the pastel you can see down here will all drop downwards. I mean, I've got a nice load of pastel down the bottom here in a little gutter I've got on the easel. So just let that fall downwards. If not, just get it on a slope. It's best not to do it flat if you can help it. I have in the past, but there we go. Right, okay, I'm going to get a white, just a small piece of white, and I'm going to do some clouds. Now, I always see people doing a cloud there, a cloud there, a cloud there, and a cloud there, and that is so frustrating. You need an overlapping of clouds. Now, I was fortunate enough that my wife paid for me to go up in a hot air balloon. Absolutely terrified I was. But I learned a lot from that, because I noticed that, well, on the day I went up, all the clouds seemed to be in a flat plane. So there was like a blanket of cloud. Well, there's the saying. So what that is, you have to have the overlap, and if you didn't, they'd just be on top of each other. Now all the larger clouds are going to be towards the top, so I'm going to just randomly pick somewhere to do a cloud, and I'm going to make it as big or as little as I like. I'm just doing a circular motion, going right up to the lighthouse. In fact, there's another cloud. Okay, cloud down here. As you get down towards the bottom here, they become a little bit less small and a little bit sparser. Alright, so just with a twist in action, just put in some clouds, and now we're going to manipulate them with our fingers. Okay, right. Okay, now to get more white onto there, what you could do if you really wanted to is you could get a brush and you could just pick out some of the pastel, and that'll give you a little bit more tooth. I don't know if you can see that there, that's a little bit more tooth where I just put that brush, and you'll get on a harsher white or more white pastel onto the thing. But I'm not bothered about that, so with that I'm just pushing and touching the bottom of the clouds just to make it look soft. In there's a nice little bit of blue in there just to make it look soft. I'm pushing the blue of the sky up into the cloud and having some softer areas and then some more fluffy areas at the top. Here's a good one to show you. So if I do that, there we go. Down here, I'm just blending them into the background. So just softening them in. I'm literally just skimming over this now. So you can barely see the white. That'll all fade off as if it's going into the distance. Okay, right, now I'm going to do this side. And we've got a cloud coming there, so I'm going to have him coming behind the lighthouse like that. Just to give it a sense of depth. That will help. Right, I'm going to have a cloud here. I mean, I'm really just making this up now. Where should we go? So we need some here. It's a good bit, good idea to put some of these perhaps on where the change of blue tone comes. So I'm going to have one there. Just putting plenty of pastel on. I mean, anything that you do here, can all be changed. So I'm just skimming in down the bottom here, like I did before. A little bit more there. You make that strong or as light as we like. Okay, so I'm just putting a little bit more on the top of these clouds that are higher up, shaping them a bit more, using the pastel and the softness and pushing a little bit harder at times to get division of clouds, especially where there's a slightly darker tone, especially where this is at the top. So I'm just drawing, in effect, a bit harder to get in some fluffiness. I'm just pushing a little bit harder, letting the softness of the pastel kind of help me and lend itself to me in finding this softness and this fluffiness that we all perceive the clouds to be. Alright, so I can have that coming down there, flick it off. Okay, right, so I'm just going to concentrate on this side again. Blend the bombs. Blend the bombs. Push the blue. Don't forget to clean your fingers sometimes. If you find that the white is coming too far into the blue, you can just blend it in at the bottom. And then what you could do, if you really wanted to, if you felt it was getting a bit dark, you could just add a little bit of blue in there just to blueing it up again. Right, a nice little bit coming through there now, so the clouds have now all of a sudden separated. This is all about basically imagination, really. It's just putting clouds in. Like I said, it's a basic sky. It's not. I'm not copying a sky. I'm making up my own sky as I go along. So blending the bottoms of the clouds. I'm actually quite pleased how this is coming along at the moment. As they get down towards the bottom, softening them in a bit more. I'm skimming across, I'm touching, hardly touching, but enough to make it a difference. Okay, so I'm just going to blend these out a bit more. Okay, so some nice softness. Alright, you choose where you want the softer part of the clouds to be, which, like I said, is generally at the bottom. But you can use what's on your finger to just bring bits off. Nice little. You might not be able to see them on the on the camera, but you can just manipulate them, move them, blend the blue into the white and the white into the blue. Okay. Right, so that's pretty rough. I need to do a little bit more work on that just to blend it all down, but you get the basics. Alright, and any bits of blue that have gone a bit jaded, if you like, you just blend into them just to get the blueness back up again, because the blue is the most predominant colour. There we go. Alright, and nice little soft transitions where that white on that pastel has just come off your finger and blended into the blue, so it disappears. Nice softness. Right, okay, so in effect that's a very basic sky, but the clouds have colour. Alright, we now need to look for a little bit of colour into it. So I've got a cream ivory colour now, and I'm just going to do exactly the same as I did with the clouds. I'm just going to put little bits of ivory in here and there. Alright, you choose where you want it. I would suggest in a fuller part of the cloud. Not so much down here, we aren't that too bothered down there, but definitely up the top. I hope you can see the difference on the camera. This one, you can then use it to shape and do what you want to do. I'm just literally just adding colour in. But I'm doing it in such a way that it's kind of an educated guess. So I've got that cream in there, and that cream will help to break up the clouds and give them more interest. Alright, and again, just soften it in wherever you want it softened in. Okay, So now you've got cream, you've got white, cream and white. So that's nice. Now again, if you want to, that could effectively be finished, although I want a bit more in it. If you want, you can find a pink. Just touch a little bit pink in. Now the pink may go in quite harsh. Alright, so but what you've got to do is you've just got to touch it and blend it in with that white and that cream. Okay, so a nice little bit there. Hope you can see this. Alright, so I'm just going to touch it in. Soften it in. Soften it in. Nice little bit of cream in there. Sorry, red in there. But you can barely see it. But it makes a difference. Right. Okay. So you've got some nice colour going on in there. Now what you need to do is to now refine the tops of the clouds. So you get your soft white pastel and you do whatever shapes you want. So I'm doing a twisting action, circular action, and I'm putting in the white highlights. Okay, white highlights, just to show that that's the top of the cloud. Where you see two clouds joining together, it's nice to have a nice little bright white just to separate them, like that. Hope you can see that. Okay, you can have little bits coming off there. Use the colours that are in the clouds to separate. Okay. And that. Just have a nice bit of white there. Get it in there. Soften it in. Just touch. Very light touch. Very light touch. Okay. Lovely. Right. Soften them in. Make sure they're where you want them to be. Look how I just softened that light white. That's a bit of broken off cloud just flying away into the sky. And again, reinforce your blues where they want reinforcing. Right, now another thing you can do with this, I'm not going to do it on this picture because looking at it I think I might progress, and I'll show you the progression. Blow it off. Is you can get a grey and you can bottom these clouds. You know, like you see when the clouds are more of a rainy sky, you can put some grey into the bottom of there. Grey, blue, other colours. You can then put some raw umber into there. In fact, you could do that on these clouds. Here we go. I'll just put in a couple of bits. And again, it's just the same as before. Soften it in by touching it. And if you need to, you just go back over and refine your white areas wherever you want them. Sounded like Bob Ross then, didn't I? Bit strange because I don't actually watch him much. Right. Yeah, you can have a nice little bit of softness going on up there. Look. Darken that again. Right. Another thing you can do is you can have some sort of broken cloud, stormy broken cloud that's broken. Just go across this with a bit of grey. Nice broken cloud, and then you just need to soften that in as well, especially towards the ends. Right. That just gives a little bit of three-dimension into the sky. I'm not saying I'm going to keep that, but I'm just showing you that's what you can do. Nice little bit of broken cloud right in front of the other clouds. Right, I'm not going to mess about with that anymore because I think that's not too bad. It's kind of where it needs to be. Soften them out, not having quite so harsh. There we go. It's all about blending and softening and just cleaning up, really. Cleaning up. Right, I'm going to carry on with this picture, but I'm going to do a video on it. Right, I'm going to do the lighthouse next. I'm going to block the lighthouse in. Let's see, maybe, if we can get this to a complete finish. So this is how to do a sky. Next it will be how to do the buildings in front of the sky, or the trees, or anything else. Okay, it'll be just as simple as this. Okay, so I hope that gives you some idea. And let me just put myself on the camera. Just wanted to say, whoever, wherever you are, have a great day. Look after yourselves and happy painting. Take care. Bye for now.